If we want a diverse hospitality industry, we have to open up safely, but we have to open up.
Tonight, frustration from local restaurants as Spokane County will stay in phase 1 with no indoor dining, at least for the foreseeable future. Plus, day 2 of the mass vaccination at the Spokane Arena. We'll check in to see how it's been today and what's being done to make the process a bit easier.
And temperatures were a little bit warmer today, some of that snow melting, and by this weekend we're looking at rain chances for the area.
We begin tonight with some breaking news. The Adams County Sheriff's Office says they have found 2 dead bodies in a vehicle in Othello tonight. Police say they responded to reports of a vehicle with blood on the hood of the car in a rural part of Adams County. Police found 1 person dead in the vehicle and another in the trunk. The bodies have not been identified due to the quote extent of their conditions. Anyone with information tonight about the situation urged to call the number right there on your screen. And good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm Regina On. Big announcement today from Washington Governor Jay Inslee. The West and Puget Sound regions will move to phase 2 on Monday, meaning more businesses in those regions can now reopen. But Spokane and the rest of the state will remain in phase 1. The governor also announced that regions must meet 3 out of the 4 requirements instead of all 4. Right now, Spokane is meeting 2 of those requirements to get to phase 2. We need to see decreasing 2-week trends. It must decrease by less than 10%, and the COVID-19 test positivity rate needs to be less than 10%.
And so if regions improve and their numbers improve, they move forward. And so this is really determined by the citizens of these regions, of what they decide to do and how much they decide to be diligent and how much they decide, not to have people over for dinner and infect them and don't have big Super Bowl parties. And
now in phase 2, restaurants, gyms, and movie theaters can reopen at 25% capacity. Indoor gatherings with up to 5 people will be allowed. And while western regions are celebrating tonight, many businesses here are still being hit hard with phase 1 restrictions. I spoke with Benny's owner, Derek Baziotis, who says he's losing hope of reopening.
I'm losing passion and I'm losing purpose, and my employees are losing passion and a sense of purpose, a sense of ownership, not really knowing what's going to happen tomorrow, what the sales are going to look like.
In the meantime, he has been working with his employees to find other ways to keep his business going in the Cheney Medical Lake area, including starting up a food delivery service. Well, now the hospitality industry has been one of the hardest hit during the pandemic, like we've been talking about. And for many like Derek, they are losing the hope of being able to reopen at all. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones has followed the stories of restaurant owners for nearly a year now. And tonight he explains what the situation has been like for upscale eateries.
Restaurants are doing everything they can to overcome this pandemic. Spokane being unable to move into phase 2 is a huge blow. Fine dining restaurants experience that to another degree.
Most businesses are losing money while they operate with only takeout orders. Others don't have access to outdoor seating.
Today I spoke with fine dining restaurants in Spokane like Churchill's and Luna. As they were getting ready for their night, they shared with me that it's been an absolute challenge being limited to only takeout orders. Just within the last week, I spoke with another restaurant downtown, and they told me it's been nothing short of difficult not knowing when they'll be able to return.
And we know we can do this safely. And so to hear that Spokane is still going to be closed is heartbreaking. Hear that there's still no plan for 50% is frustrating.
The Washington Hospitality Association believes reopening restaurants in the region is past due.
Most fine dining restaurants are lauded for their overall experience. That includes the atmosphere, the furniture, the wines.
With Spokane remaining in phase 1, that can't be offered. What makes things even more complicated is placing orders. It could be at least another 2 weeks before we know whether customers can return to dining indoors.
Each restaurant that I've had a conversation with has had one thing in common. They've all mentioned their concern for their employees, and they're ready to bring them back. They're eager to bring them back with stability. From Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
We're continuing to follow up on the Spokane Regional Health District search for a permanent health officer. Today, during the health board's meeting, members decided to wait to advertise a position because of a bill in the Washington State House. House Bill 1152 aims to change the makeup of local health boards in the state. And today, board members expressed concern about the bill impacting the candidate pool and recommended waiting until their next board meeting to make that decision.
If we're going to spend close to $30,000 on a search, we should at least wait till we can tell these candidates with some clarity if it's a long-term position or if it's 2 years before they have to have some sort of evaluation.
Now, the bill expresses concern about politics infecting public health. Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, it would require health boards to have at least 4 members who are not elected officials who met requirements adopted by the State Board of Health, and the bill is currently in the House Committee on Health Care and Wellness. All right, switching gears now to a look at weather. Certainly has been quite an active week of weather indeed. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us now from the Outdoor Weather Center tonight. And Thomas, I could see you out there, no earmuffs, no gloves, so not too chilly out there, right?
I was going to ask you that question first, Regina. How'd you feel it was today? Warm, cold, somewhere in the middle?
You know, I was up in Cheney today, and it wasn't too bad. It was quite mild, actually, but I also had like 4 layers of a turtleneck and then a coat and then a jacket, so
then you're fine. You're totally fine. But you're absolutely right, Regina. If I'm not wearing my earmuffs, it can't be too bad out here now, can it? Usually 32 degrees is kind of my threshold, and we're at 33, so just above that. Honestly, not a bad day overall. It was 38 for the high temperature today. It was still tracking just a few leftover snow showers that was kind of drifting over northeastern Washington for a little bit here, but it's tapering off and thinning out quite significantly as of this hour. So I don't think there's going to be too much left over. Looks like Colville or near Kettle Falls probably the last to see that snowfall for tonight, which may still linger into tomorrow morning. But a bigger weather system starts heading our way towards this upcoming weekend. You can see that in our future tracker here. Large area of rain, mountain snow for sure, but I think temperatures will be quite mild by that time. So even if Regina thought it was not too bad for today, it's going to be even better for this weekend temperature wise. But tomorrow, just looking at a cloudy day, temperatures probably topping out in the upper 30s, maybe right around 40 degrees, but should be dry. But as you saw, those rain chances are not too far off. So we'll be breaking that down in just a few minutes.
All right, Thomas, thank you. Well, what a difference a day makes. Instead of confusion and long lines, day 2 of the mass vaccination clinic, according to many people, was smooth sailing at the Spokane Arena today. Our Mark Hanrahan spent the day at the arena to find out why.
The scene at the Spokane Arena couldn't be any different today compared to 24 hours ago. Registration problems and logistics issues led to long lines and wait times that stretched on for hours. Today it appeared those first day jitters are gone.
I am thrilled to have gotten my vaccine.
Carolyn Nesbitt says the process this afternoon couldn't have gone any better.
My experience was unbelievably perfect. It could not have been better. Not only that, but the people inside are so considerate.
Our goal was to schedule and vaccinate approximately 500 people.
Kelly Charvet with Chaz Health, the organization running the vaccination site, says they shattered that day 1 goal by more than double.
We ended up vaccinating 1,164 individuals. So we are proud of our staff and our support system that allowed us to be able to do that work.
Charvet also addressed issues with the registration website. Simply put, when it went live yesterday morning, the vendor running the registration site was overwhelmed. So much so, Charvet says it crashed their system nationwide. She believes the issues have since been resolved. Organizers have also revised traffic flow in the parking lot. People still enter on Boone Avenue, but staffers will verify that they have an appointment right away, and if not, they'll be directed to exit the parking lot sooner. Charvet says workers will also be checking IDs to assure that only Washington residents or people who work in Washington are getting the vaccine here.
We are going to do our best to continue to encourage only Washington state residents or those working in Washington receive vaccines at that site.
We also asked Charvet about the future supply of vaccines. Chaz Health has 3,000 doses for the week, and with more than a third of that allotment administered on day 1, we wanted to know if they're worried they'll run out of supply before the next shipment arrives.
We don't have confirmation of the total number that we'll be receiving on Monday, but we do anticipate that we are going to need to borrow from that future supply in order to vaccinate those that we have scheduled for Monday. We just don't know how many quite yet.
What does getting this first dose of the vaccine mean for you?
It means safety. It means good health. It means the ability to perhaps be a little bit more lenient after the second shot to go out into the community. Because at 76, I don't go anyplace.
And I really like that answer there, and kudos to everyone who has gotten their vaccine so far. Well, Governor Brad Little signed a big order today on vaccine data, and more Idaho residents will be able to sign up to get their COVID-19 vaccine this coming Monday. So we'll break down everything you need to know. That's coming up next.